If you're parents, there's a question that tends to pop up late at night.
What happens to my child when I'm no longer there?
Today, we're talking about that. Without fear and without being overwhelmed. Just an honest conversation about love, planning ahead, and finding peace of mind. Today we are joined by our friend Ray, a mom whose journey has shaped how she thinks about care, responsibility, and even the future. So I'm Bernard,
And I'm Brenda
and this is our conversation with
with
Ray.
Ray. Today we are sitting with Ray, a mom who has spent over 2 decades navigating parenthood in a way that most people, they will never expect this. And she's Rachel's mom, and her journey has taught her and even us a lot about love, resilience, and even planning ahead. So maybe before we go into a bigger topics, right? Could you share with us a little bit more about like your family?
Sure. Rachel, my late daughter, she passed away when she was just 2 months shy of being 21 years old. When we had her during my pregnancy, it was largely uneventful. We only knew that Rachel had serious medical issues the moment she was born because there were physical deformities that were not picked up during our scans. And subsequently, when we sent her bloods to the US 21 years ago, the bloods have to go to the US for genetic testing. Then we got to know that she had a unique chromosome disorder because there wasn't a match in the world. But to us at that time, it wasn't so much what was she having. It was more of how are we going to deal with all the medical conditions because she had a very severe heart condition. The doctors deemed that she required immediate operation even when she was an infant. So the days went by, we delayed the operation, and subsequently she was able to be discharged. And the first 2 years we were in and out of hospital a lot, sometimes for small things, sometimes for bigger things, but we were discovering even more medical conditions every 4 to 6 months. And everything was very, very confusing and difficult for us because I always remind people that 20 years ago there wasn't even Google, of course no ChatGPT. So it was very difficult for us to find information. The doctors had no answers. They don't know what to expect. So what can we do? And subsequently, thanks to my husband who was very, very strong, and he was a very strong believer that let's not think about why us, let's think about what can we do. So every time something happens, he will ask the doctors, okay, so what do we do? What can we do? How should we handle it? And when we subsequently moved forward, overcame most of the medical conditions, we were at a stable stage. She entered school. That's when she started to have more joys in her life. The teachers at the SPED school were very lovely. They had so much love. I learned how to love her, mainly from the teachers. And then we had her major heart operation when she was 5.5 years old. And when the doctors said that, okay, she's now certified to fly, we started to travel with her to different countries, starting from a short flight to Penang first to test out everything. For some reason, Rachel loved to be on different modes of transport. That's something that she really enjoyed. She loves lights, music. She loves fireworks. Then we started bringing her to all the local fireworks during the National Day rehearsals. And we even moved a step further to bring her overseas to view all the fireworks during festivals and competitions until her health started to deteriorate in 2024.
Thank you, Ray. I also came to know that Rachel was non-verbal, meaning
Yes.
she probably didn't speak
No.
She had issues verbalizing herself. If you may tell us how do you then understand her needs, or even how do you even understand that she she loved fireworks?
After her operation, when she was 5.5 years old, she started to giggle out loud. That was something that didn't happen. I mean, she was smiling, but she started giggling out loud, and it's not easy to actually make her laugh. Like, she may or may not respond to certain things all the time, but there are few things that will really capture her attention and make her laugh out loud. That's why we knew fireworks was one. Being on a plane was one, which is very ironic because the mummy who has severe motion sickness will be very, very anxious. She's the one that enjoys the entire flight. Yeah, and because she has a cleft palate, she actually doesn't have a blocked nasal passage, so she flies perfectly. She has no blocked ears and all. So that's how we knew that she enjoyed all these things, and we made sure that we do more of them.
So you mentioned that she started going to school, right?
Yes.
But I can imagine that her school life will definitely be very different from the rest of the other children. So how is it like for her in the school life, and whether she graduated in a sense, or how do you guys feel as parents?
We enrolled her into the SPED school when she was 2.5. I wasn't expecting very much because I've always been told that it's a very long queue to go into SPED school, and that I should start as early as I can because I never know how long it will take before she can enroll into school. So when they called us up for an interview, I brought her in without much expectations. But I actually left the school in tears because during that interview session, we witnessed firsthand how much love all the teachers and therapists had for a child that they've never met. They were just interacting with her. They were able to capture her attention. She was enjoying the interaction with them. I never expected a group of strangers to have so much love for my special needs child. From then on, I knew that it was the right place to bring her. Yeah, and we've always enjoyed our time because before the pandemic, parents were allowed to sit into class, and I've always enjoyed seeing how the teachers engage all the students. They don't really care whether the students understood or not. To them, they believe that the students understood what they were saying. The students were enjoying themselves, and they were conducting the classes with so much love and passion that I feel very touched as a parent as well.
Yeah.
That's also why I always say that I learned to love Rachel even more from the teachers, because it's not even their children, and yet they have so much love and passion. The teachers who have taught her throughout the years actually came for her wake, when she passed away last year.
So Rachel was at school from which age onwards?
She was in school from 2.5 till she graduated at 18. They call it graduation. I always call it being kicked out because if given a choice, we would never leave the school because it's such a loving environment. Even subsequently, after the pandemic, when parents are no longer allowed to sit into classes, I know that Rachel has enjoyed herself. Rachel has very bad sleeping habits. She was always awake at night, even from the time when she was just a baby. She don't really sleep very much at night, but she would sleep the day before class. So she goes to school twice a week. Most nights before school, she would sleep so that she could wake up in time. Or even if she doesn't have much sleep, she would still wake up, and she would seem to be all ready to go to school. And we could see her excitement the moment we enter the school gate, and she sees her teachers, which to us is something we didn't expect because she doesn't seem to recognize people because she's non-verbal. We didn't think that she can recognize people, but she's always so happy in class. So when the teachers take videos, the teachers will show us how participative she is in class. She's very, very attentive in class. She will follow the teachers from left to right. Whatever the teachers give her, she will look. She will stretch out her hand and pick up the things. So we knew that she enjoyed school very, very much. And we were very, very upset as we approached the graduating years because I was subsequently more engaged in the social service sector. So I knew that options for her post-sped school were very, very few. In fact, I didn't think she had a place to go immediately after she graduated from sped school at 18.
Straight after that graduation at 18 years old and shortly after that, you did mention that Rachel's health started to decline a little bit more.
Because we were not going out as much already, so she was at home more. 1 or 2 years after that, we started to notice that she was having more seizures. That's when we got the first sign that her health has deteriorated.
A lot of people, they always focus on so what's the diagnosis, and also how much more my child can live. But is that what you also think about?
For our case, when Rachel was born, the doctors actually suspected that she could be a trisomy 13, which at that time the prognosis was only 2 weeks. And usually they are stillborn. So she was only given 2 weeks to 2 months to live at birth. And that was a very huge shock to us because we didn't even expect. We were expecting a healthy baby. I had a lot of dreams. I was very determined that she would start picking up piano the moment she can sit on a chair, because I believe music develops the left and right brain. I had imagined how our family of 3 would start living our lives in our new house. That all came down, crumbling down the moment we gave birth to her and we were given that prognosis. Subsequently, when more and more things came up in the first 2 years, like a brain tumor was diagnosed when she was 6 months old, we were very determined to ensure that every day she lived was a happy day for her and also for the two of us, that we spend quality life, quality time as a family. So that became a very huge focus, and that's why I subsequently also quit my work in order to handle her, because at one time she had 11 doctors and 3 therapists, so we were in and out of the hospital very, very much. To us, making sure that she lived every day to the fullest was our main priority, even till the day that she passed on. That's also one of the reasons we decided not to have a second child.
I also remember there was a year, so actually it's 2024 lah. So we actually invited your family to come over to our office to watch the fireworks together with Rachel, because she really loves fireworks, right? But then I think you rejected that idea due to her health.
It was a very sad period because I was very, very happy to get the invitation to come and view the fireworks at the level where the fireworks were. And we were actually looking forward to it. But that was the period when Rachel was admitted to the hospital and she actually had a code blue situation the night that we admitted her, which meant that she stopped breathing and they had to resuscitate her. That was actually the beginning of the downturn of her health, which came to us as a shock because although her health was declining, we didn't expect that we would have to make a decision at that time about certain procedures which would help to prolong her life. but may reduce her quality of life. So that was the period, July, August 2024, when we had to really think very hard, what do we want for her and what do we want as a family. Even though we actually did our advanced care plan for her 6 months before this incident happened. So when she was being resuscitated after the code blue, the doctors sat us down and told us that there were things that could be done that could help her to overcome another episode should she stop breathing again. But that procedure would mean that she would be very uncomfortable. Although she is not mobile and she is not verbal, she hated things on her. Like she could never tolerate an oxygen mask on her. So we knew that adding on things onto her body was something that we would not want to. So we sat down with the doctors, and subsequently we were also referred to Staff Health and the hospital's palliative team, who guided us in our decision making by allowing us to think very deeply into what has Rachel been enjoying for the last 20 years of her life. How have we been enjoying ourselves as a family? And should we be looking at the last stage of her life, how do we want her to go through that stage? As that period went on, in that 1 year before she passed on, we actually amended her ACP another 3 times. Each time we were more determined that the last stage of her life has to be a comfortable and meaningful journey so that she gets to enjoy her last days with us as much as she has enjoyed her last 20 years with us.
You've gone through something so special and so unique. You did legacy planning for Rachel, your daughter.
Yes, so we did our wills when she was 3 or 4 years old. Before we graduated from school, the school actually had a team of social workers to work with us to ensure that we could progress towards getting the guardianship done when she turns 21. Because a lot of people didn't realize that for anybody above the age of 21, whether they have the mental capability to make decisions for themselves, they can, or legally they can make decisions for themselves. And as parents, when your children turn 21, you are no longer legally capable of making decisions, especially medical decisions for your own children, without the guardianship. So the very, very grateful thing that happened during the graduation was that the school actually prepared us and helped us to get this guardianship done, which I understand that if you do it with a lawyer on your own, it can cost in the regions of $5,000 to $10,000. So we did that before we left school, and subsequently there was an external social service agency that picked up and completed the process when Rachel turned 20 years old. So we actually didn't get to activate it because she didn't turn 21, but the guardianship was already in place along with our wills, and that we also have secondary guardians appointed should me and my husband passed away before Rachel.
In that legacy planning, the very important part was you actually did Rachel's ACP, her advanced care plan, preparing for her to pass on, to even pass on before you?
As we progress past our 40s and Rachel started to go older and bigger, from the time when we hoped that we had more time with her when she was much younger, the tables were turned around. It became a fear that she will actually outlive us because she has no siblings. And we will have to depend on external help to take care of her should the two of us pass on before her. It's not even only about passing on, it's also about us being incapable of taking care of her. So the ACP was something that I was very adamant about doing when we are calm and in a clear state of mind, so we can think clearly and not be affected by our emotions at the stage when the ACP would be carried out.
So for parents who haven't lived your life, right, I think they will not understand this kind of fear. So, and you also mentioned about that maybe there will be a time where Rachel may actually pass on before you. What is your thought about, whether it's not really like you all giving up your child, but it is more like making sure that Rachel is in the safe zone and in her comfort zone, and even making sure that she knows that she's being loved by the people around her.
When we were referred to the two palliative teams and we started our home hospice journey in the last 1 year before she passed on, we were always reminded to think about what do we want for her. We strongly believed that we want Rachel to pass on peacefully, calmly, comfortably, and at home. So with that in mind, the palliative teams were able to guide us to make certain decisions. And when we did the last amendment to the ACP, we decided on the choice of DNR, which means do not resuscitate. But at the same time, I felt very lucky that I came across an article on Facebook from a Taiwanese doctor that said that we should encourage the medical community to rephrase DNR into AND, which is allow natural death. Because when the body is deteriorating to the stage where it can no longer operate and sustain, then we should allow natural death and not prolong the patient's sufferings. So after we read that article, my husband and I had a lot of comfort thinking that we are not giving up on our child. She's had lived a wonderful 21 years, almost 21 years, and that it's time that the body be put to rest, and we should not prolong it just so that we could spend more time with her. So we were very grateful that the palliative teams supported our decision and also encouraged us that it wasn't wrong for us as parents to decide that.
Thank you for sharing. This is not very commonly shared openly. So do you think that this is also a feeling that many parents who have special kids with special needs, right? They are also quietly carrying out these thoughts.
Yes, that's also one of the reasons why at the later stage of Rachel's last days, we were very openly sharing about this, because throughout the last 21 years, we meet very few parents who openly share that they have the same thought as us, same fear as us, that they wish their children would pass before them, because we don't know who and how our children will be cared for after we passed on. And at the hospital, when we have signed the DNR, I met only one mom who also very, very quietly shared with me that, oh, I actually also told the doctors not to resuscitate my child, but I dare not tell anybody because I'm very afraid of how people will think about us and why are we not saving our child. So in that last stage of Rachel's life, it was just me and her. Yeah, and her child passed away 6 months before Rachel. And she also told me that, yeah, I am so glad that we had each other on this last stage of our children's life. But I feel that there should be more parents, there could be more parents who also have the same struggle as us. And the palliative teams were actually very, very supportive and in telling us that there is nothing wrong in making that decision, because we have evaluated how possible her illness are reversible and the odds are very, very low. So we had many, many meetings with large teams of doctors, and everybody told us that the odds were very, very low. So the decision we made in the end, we felt was the best decision, because Rachel eventually passed on very, very peacefully and calmly and in our arms, which was the only thing that we wished for in the last 21 years.
In our earlier interview with Ray, one moment really stayed with me. When she said she wished her daughter would pass before her. That's an incredibly difficult thought for any parent. And it really shows the tough decisions families sometimes face. To help us understand how estate planning can support families in this sensitive situation, we invited iFAST estate planning expert, Chik Hao. Hi Chik Hao, thank you for joining us.
How does a family with special needs children prepare a will? Is there any a right time to do it? And if let's say any circumstances changes, will the will be adjusted to it?
For across all my clients and friends with family, especially young children, we always encourage them to plan for the eventual. What if you are not around and your children are still young? So I think the most important thing is, for me, number one, it would be the guardianship. It is fortunate for some families to have extended family members who can take over guardianship. But for some families where it's smaller, there's not enough trusted family members, or even for special needs case where there are not enough people who are willing to even take over guardianship. So I think it is very important for people to formally write down, right, to say that, okay, I have found this person that can help me take care of my child. I think that's first and foremost very important. We don't want family members to argue with one another who should take care of this person and all that. So in my opinion, it's much better to start the conversation a bit earlier, to start planning, to write the will, to think about who will be the guardians. And most importantly, I think whatever you want to leave for a child, it should be also properly documented, so that at least you know who have actual control, who can safeguard the assets for your minor children.
So if we do not have a will, does the Singapore government have a default template for us?
Yes, there is in fact a default template. It goes to a fixed ratio to your spouse, to your children, and it may not necessarily reflect the way that you want your assets to be distributed. Say for example, in a case where you have a spouse and children, in this case 50% go to the spouse, 50% will go to the children, right? Then you may have other beneficiaries that you want to take care of, and they may not be entitled to the share that you want to allocate for them.
In the case of family with special needs children, how does these government default way of distributing affect them?
So it's a very straightforward formula. So which means if the spouse is still around, you go 50-50, right? And now 50% to the other children. So for example, if your family has one normal child and one child with special needs, it will go in equal proportions to both of them. So sometimes it may not be enough, the 25% may not be enough to take care of the other special needs child. So it's very important that a person, when they write the will, they should consider certain aspects of this to allocate more resources to the one who is a bit more disadvantaged.
Ray also shared that she applied for this thing called deputyship for a special needs daughter. Can you share with us what is deputyship?
Deputyship is a position where this person is officially granted powers to step in to take care of affairs for the person who needs to be taken care of. So it can be in the form of caregiving, it can be in the forms of managing finances for the person. So it's very important. Why? Because the person who has this authority will be able to manage, for example, simple things like bank account to pay for expenses and all that. So if there's no deputy involved, it becomes very difficult for the person to be taken care of. For example, the assets will be frozen. They can't have access to move the money, for example, to pay the nursing home. Which is why deputyship is very important to say in the first place, to have it documented that this particular person is responsible for processing all this administrative work and to also provide caregiving to a certain extent. So important to write down, and then it gives the person more easier time to have access to take care of the disadvantage.
That sounds quite complicated. So is it this deputyship, right, has to be someone that we really trust, and is it usually like parents, or who else can it be?
So in larger families, I think they're a bit more fortunate, as I mentioned earlier, that they may have enough people to care for the child, right? But we do see families getting smaller these days, and some of my clients do run out of people that they can trust to take care of the child. So a lot of times they will have to apply for deputyship. And in Singapore, there is a simplified deputyship track that parents can take advantage of. If you want to embark on this journey, then I think they could probably get a mental capacity assessment done up first. Then after that, talk to an estate planner or talk to a trust company to get this thing going forward.
You have a child with multiple disability. They may not be verbal, they may not be able to speak, or even because of their medical conditions, their living days may not be long at all. How can parents make plans to even possibly respect all these medical boundaries, and even to allow their child to pass on with a natural death?
I'm sure there will be like challenges for it, but then how does estate planning be involved in all this to make sure that the special needs children, the daily care, comfort, and also their medical boundaries are being respected?
So with regards to caregiving for the special needs child, I think it's very important to put in place an ACP specifically for the child. When the need arises, there is a form of guidance given to any caregiver that the child should be cared in a certain way. And it's very important that this thing has to be done properly through a facilitator. There's a lot of avenues out there that parents can reach out to get this properly planned out for them.
So finally, when it comes to end-of-life decisions, how can we respect the dignity of the patient? And are there anything that you can plan as part of estate planning?
In situations like this, I think the ACP also plays an important part. We can allow the patient to opt for certain comfort towards the end of life, and also to put in place certain pain management plans and this can be documented down as well to aid the process.
Okay, thank you, Che Hao, for sharing your insights. Is there any other thing that you want to share with our viewers?
So estate planning is a very emotional journey for everyone. I think especially so for families with special needs children. And I suggest that it must be done with a lot of care and guidance, right? It's important to have someone that's professional to handhold you through this journey of planning. And we do strongly recommend that if you have concerns about how to go about doing so, we can speak to iFAST Global Trust to help you plan this journey out for your loved ones so that they can live on with dignity as well and their well-being is being cared for.